Okay. How long have we been live for?
On live? We've been on live for 20 minutes.
Oh, we're fine then.
No, we haven't been live at all. We just went live right now.
Okay. Hi, welcome to Husky Huddle. I'm Steve Cully. We're in Nashville, Tennessee. We started late because I am at a bachelor party with several of my former teammates, and I forgot that I was in a different time zone. I was out with a lot of girls who wear skirts and boots, and I'm going to get a cowboy hat today.
And you should.
So Dave and I were talking about Shedeur Sanders and his plummet into the draft out of the first round. That is the big story of the day. Dave and I both agree that, he was projected probably a little too high early on, because we talked about in February and March, he was neck and neck with Cam Ward as, either being picked first, second, or third. Because, we thought the Browns were going to take a quarterback. Tennessee was definitely going to take a quarterback. And the Giants spent more time recruiting and scouting Shedeur than anyone.
Right.
The draft did not go as planned. The Jaguars traded up to number 2 and took Travis Hunter, which I thought was an amazing pick. He was the best player in the draft by far, in my opinion. I don't think there's anyone close. And he's going to play both ways.
What do you think about Cam Ward?
I think Cam Ward is forced. I've talked to you about this. I think NFL teams give up on quarterbacks too fast. And Will Levis, he was a first-round pick. He's played 2 years. Yes, they've seen a lot of him. Yes, they may think they've seen enough of him. But we have seen the reclamation projects. Baker Mayfield, Jared Goff, Geno Smith, Sam Darnold. If you put pieces around these guys, that will help them be successful.
Right.
So if it were me, I would have drafted Travis Hunter. I would not have given up on Will Levis. I would give him another year to show me what he could do. They felt Cam Ward was that good. Cam Ward's story is crazy. He went to either a Division II school, Incarnate Ward, I think it was.
No, they were FCS at the time. Yeah.
He goes to Incarnate Ward. Then he years there. Then he I can't remember if it's 2 or 3. He transfers to Washington State. They go 7-6. But the coach said if they didn't have Cam Ward, they probably would have won 2 or 3 games.
Wow.
To the U. Takes the U to another level. The U hasn't been the U that we remember for a while. They have a great season. So he worked his way up. And I don't question his ability. Do I think he's worthy of number 1 pick in the draft? No. But when, you're forcing yourself to go by position, you say, I need a quarterback. And you're passing up maybe players who were better. I thought the Giants took another, probably the second best player in the draft, Abdul Carter.
Okay.
I thought it was Travis Hunter.
Abdul Carter was definitely the second best player in the draft. I think the big 3 was best players in the draft was Travis Hunter, Abdul Carter, and who was the next pick?
There was an offensive tackle taken. The Patriots.
No, hold on. I'll tell you. There was another.
Georgia.
First round. Here we go. Let me see. It was.
Maybe Ashton Jeanty was. I don't know.
Oh, Genty. That's the third best player in the draft. So, yeah. Yeah. He went, sixth, I think, to the Raiders. So I thought those were the top three players in the draft.
Yes.
Obviously, you need a quarterback. Cam Ward was they thought was the best guy. I think Jackson Dart is a steal there.
It was, and the Giants typically aren't aggressive as far as trades go. They normally don't do that. So they knew they wanted a young quarterback, and I think they're going to do it the right way. The question is, does this save Joe Shane and Brian DeBall's job?
You know who else had a great pick? Cowboys took Tyler Booker.
Mm-hmm.
That great pick. Connecticut kid.
Yes.
Do you know that?
I did know that, yes. But Brian DeBall and Joe Shane, they have Russell Wilson, Jameis Winston. One of them will start. They have to show that they can win at least 8 games this year, I think, to keep their jobs. But what I like is they're going to start one of them, and then Jackson Dart will sit and learn, which is the way it should go. Don't throw him into the fire.
Right.
Don't throw him into the fire. If they do that and develop him, 2 years from now, he's going to be your guy, in my opinion. And I think that was a brilliant, brilliant move.
Yes.
As I said, I think Shedeur got bad guidance from his agents. I don't think his pro day went as well as expected. I think he talked himself out of the first round with his attitude. And, there's a difference between confidence and arrogance. And I think that's why teams shied away from him. And you and I both talked. Dion did everything he could to make him look good and I really think he had padded his stats.
Yeah.
After looking at his film, they padded this kid's stats like no other. Even last year, when they stunk, he was throwing the ball 40 times a game. They didn't even try to run the ball. And, they didn't really run much this year. And they list him at 6'2". I don't think he's 6'2". I don't know what he measured at the combine. But, I think he'll get selected early on in the first round. I think he'll get – Cleveland could take him. Cleveland needs a quarterback. Cleveland has Joe Flacco, Deshaun Watson, and Kenny Pickett right now. Why wouldn't Cleveland take him?
You're right.
Yeah. And Cleveland got a gift that Shedeur dropped this far. They're going to get it. They can take a flyer on him with a second round pick. Costs nothing. And you may get a home run. You may get a home run with them. You don't know. But yeah, that was shocking. And the rest of the draft, it was clear to me that teams took a lot of edge rushers. That was like the main pick in the first round. The pass rushers. Abdul Carter. There were edge rushers all over the place taken, and there were wide receivers taken. So you see how the league has changed. But at least, Saquon Barkley's performance is why Ashton Jeanty got picked so high.
Absolutely.
The running back position. I wish more were picked in the first round, but to have a running back in the top 10 for the first time since Saquon Barkley That's great to see. That's not true. Najee Harris was in the first round too, but that high in the top 10, it was Saquon Barkley. But talking UConn football, as I mentioned, we got an offensive line transfer from Maryland, Tamaris Walker. He was a 9-game starter. He went to Maryland. He was a 3-star recruit. Initially had offers from James Madison, Marshall, Liberty, and UConn. Maryland was his dream school. And, he wanted to stay in the DMV and make something special there. He redshirted in 2023. So he played as a redshirt freshman in 2024, which is great. As an offensive lineman, to play that early on speaks volumes. 9-game starter. And as I said, they had which I didn't even know this, they had the number 3 passing offense in the Big Ten. And, he was a big part of that. And it's huge for UConn because we had 2 major departures, Chase Lunt, who will get drafted, and Valentine Sen, your 2 starters that you're replacing. So he'll step right in and make a difference. The offensive coordinator is also the O-line coach, Gordon Samus. You really need depth at the offensive line because, one guy goes down, you got to have somebody that steps in, and you're not going to get a major drop off. It's very important. And especially, talking with Mike Burton, I told him, Mike, I'm going to go stand outside your complex. And if Jaden Rashada comes on a visit, I'm going to tackle him or whack him with my prosthetic leg. And Mike said, he's not coming. Joe Figiano's our quarterback. And I said, excuse me? I said, you're on the Joe Figiano train now. But he said, Joe Figiano is our starting quarterback. That makes me
good news.
Well, like I said, if he's the guy, I don't want him having to look over his shoulder. Build the offense around him. And like I said, we didn't need to spend money on a Jaden Rashada. We didn't need to spend money on a Nico Collins. Joe Figiano can win 9 games on our schedule.
There's no doubt about it.
And we saw it last year.
I like Joe Pagano. I've liked him. I've been a Joe Pagano advocate from the beginning.
I was not. I believe
you were on the fence.
I believed in Evers because of Mike, and I just felt he got injured 3 times and just wasn't reliable. He never really got into a groove. He had spurts where he played okay, but Figiano was much more efficient, But, still, he had 20 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, but 6 of those touchdowns came against Merrimack. But efficiency-wise, it's still good. He didn't have the highest completion percentage, but I think with Skylar Bell and the receivers they have, Romello Murphy, and the running game with Cam Edwards, Victor Rosa, Mel Brown, I think that they will be very, very tough to contend with because it just as long as they, like I said, they know Joe is not a threat to run the ball. So if you're going to run out of the gun, you have to have built-in ways to control the backside end. And
Oh, absolutely.
it's
I
either,
agree with you.
nakeds. It's either with, having a bubble, a jailbreak screen backside, something backside to control the end, or you go under center, which I wouldn't mind. And run, UConn, their base play was outside zone. They ran some inside zone. But the flow from the backside when Joe was in was so fast, they made the play a lot of the times. They got chased down from the backside.
Right.
So they have to control the backside. But this, the article in the Current was about Donovan Branch, and I mentioned to you, he committed to Randy Edsall. He decommitted when Randy was fired, and Jim Moore convinced him to stay. And I like this kid because I mentioned his loyalty. He's been in the program 4 years, and he's worked his way up. He didn't play much as a sophomore. He played a little bit last year as a junior, but statistically, 24 tackles. He had a sack and a couple pass breakups, but he fits perfectly into the 3-3-5 system of DC Matt Brock. He is going to be a starter, and he's going to be a leader. And I guess he had an exceptional spring that made a difference where he really took charge. And I mentioned a quote from Taekwon King, the linebacker from Temple that transferred in, who we both thought was very good. Donnie's a great guy. He doesn't say much, but when he says something, you listen. He leads by example. And then Morris said he's a guy that's done a tremendous job developing himself physically, mentally, emotionally, a world-class person, grounded, takes it serious. He's been the same since he got here, and now you're really starting to see it pay off. And that's what you don't like I said to you before, in college football. This is a kid, freshman, sophomore year, wasn't seeing the field. Transfer portal, gone. He could have looked for greener pastures. He didn't. And his quote was, "The reason why I never left is because of Coach Mora. That's my dog. I'm going to fight for my coach. I'm going to do whatever I got to do. I'm going to ride for Coach Mora no matter what. That's why I haven't left." So you see, the culture at UConn was built with Jim Moore when he got there, and he connected with this kid, and a kid that didn't see the field, stayed in the program, developed. We talk about that development. Kids don't want to develop. They want.
Ultimately, that would be the biggest thing that would help a lot of these kids. But it does seem like development isn't always in the cards here because they want to jump so quick.
No. They want that instant gratification of playing.
Right.
And it's not, my freshman, my sophomore year, I didn't play. Let me work harder. Let me do this to get better. Let me do more. It's let me find a place where I can play. And that's the attitude that we see from these kids. And that's what's so frustrating. I think if we had more kids like Donovan who didn't blame anyone but himself, in the weight room, stayed all summer in the off season, and now it's going to pay off. He was in the rotation as a junior. Now he's going to start as a senior, and he could be a captain. He's a leader because there's so many kids, like they were saying, that it's rare that they stay all 4 years at one place. It's so rare. So I just thought that was special to hear that even though we didn't have a spring game, Donovan stepped up in the spring, played exceptional, showed leadership qualities, helped the transfers because we had so many defensive transfers. I mean, we looked at the defensive linemen from Iowa State that we got. We looked at Taekwon King, the linebacker from Temple. We looked at the DB from Iowa State that came in. So it's tough to build a cohesive unit when you have all these pieces from different schools, and you're just getting them in January.
Right.
And now, they're still looking to add. Moore had said 6 to 7 guys. They added the offensive lineman from Maryland. He's going to have to do his work in the summer. He doesn't have to. He didn't have the luxury of spring practice.
Right.
Summer workouts, and that's part of the reason. That's one of the reasons I got out of coaching. Summer workouts now, the coaches are allowed to work with the kids. It used to be just the strength coach could, and you could have meetings with them, but now they can, they can practice basically. They can do indie work. They just can't be in pads. So, he'll be out there with Gordon, and hopefully he'll be a guard or a tackle and step right up. But I think it's all good news.
I think it's very good news. I think UConn's in a good position. It's actually amazing, but they are.
Yeah, that's what I give Mike a lot of credit, Mike Burton, because he doesn't blow the money we have on a couple players. He gets good role players, bits and pieces that fit, and put that puzzle together. And that's what I think makes a big difference. And because we don't have the money that a lot of the other schools do. And I don't know if you saw the NCAA ruling. So the NCAA had ruled this was the first year they could pay players from the television contract.
Right.
The judge has held up the overall settlement because of the roster limit. They were cutting the roster to 90 players.
Right.
But 90 players, it would all be scholarship guys. 4,500 kids have entered the transfer portal in anticipation of being cut. And some teams have already cut guys to try to get down to the 90 limit. The NCAA wanted it grandfathered in that the teams could keep guys already on the roster now and get down to 90 in the next year or so. So the judge is still reviewing, and she hasn't signed off on that agreement yet. So the roster limits can be what they are. So that changes everything drastically. The television money is not coming into play because that was part of the settlement.
Right.
So it's going to be interesting to see what happens when they decide, when they make a decision on, when she makes a decision on the roster limit of being at 90. Because most schools carry 110. And it's 85 scholarship, and then the rest are walk-ons. But hearing that there's 4,500 kids in the transfer portal.
Wild.
Well, I think it's like I think either you said it. I was either talking with you or Sean Mulcahy said that there should just be one transfer portal, one time.
Well, they're looking at that now. They're looking at getting rid of the other one. So could happen.
Which one, the fall or the winter or the summer?
I wasn't sure, but they were going to get rid of one of them.
Yeah, I think they should. I'm here with Steve Darby. He wanted me to say hello to you.
Oh, I love Steve Darby.
He loves you. My good friend Chris Hill, who we had on Husky Hoops one week. He's the UConn super fan. He's the one. And Uwe's going to be here.
Cool.
My friend Terry's here. And Darby, obviously.
Who?
You know Tommy Collins, right? You know Tommy?
Yeah. I know who he is. I don't really know him.
Yeah, Tommy said he knew you.
Yeah, I mean I know him, but I don't think I've hung out with him a lot, you know.
Yeah, Tommy's here, so we're having a good time.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it is. It is. I haven't seen a lot of these guys in a while.
I think that's a good thing. It needs to happen. What should happen more? It's sad that it doesn't.
Well, it's tough because all these guys have, families, wives, kids. It's tough to.
No, it is. It's very tough. That's why I say it's sad.
Yeah, no, it's great to see them. We'll see each other at the wedding, obviously, next month. And
whose wedding?
Yeah. So the wedding is for, it's a funny story. His name is Chris Hill. He's the guy that we had on Husky Hoops that one time. He's the UConn basketball super fan.
Okay.
Came on the show once. We had him on.
Yeah.
And Joe D, I told Joe D, this is my good friend Chris Hill, and Joe
Yes,
D,
I remember that. Yeah.
said, "Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Chris. You got to be Steve's friend. I'm so sorry." And he made some great points because he loves the team. But Chris was my RA, my sophomore.
Right, you said that.
And my friend Ed and I basically got him fired.
Got him fired?
Yes, because we would go, he had a great room. He had a single. We would go in his room. We would play video games all night, watch movies. We would eat his food, drink his soda, and his grades ended up dropping. He ended up being on academic probation. He had a 1.8, and he lost his RA job, and he was on Act Pro because of Ed and I. But we remained friends with him ever since. And he works for Paychecks. He's got a great job. And he lives in Brantford, Connecticut. He's doing very well. So, yeah, so he's here, and yeah, we're having a great time. But yeah, I couldn't miss the podcast. There was a lot of good stuff to talk about. I'm excited to see where Chase gets taken. I hope Jelani gets taken. I know there hasn't been a lot of buzz about him, but I think he can play. But yeah, we'll go from there. And then I told you, I told you Tuesday I have a big meeting that I need you to be a part of if I can get you there.
Yeah, I'll be there.
But so everything's looking good. I think we're good to go. I thought the time difference was the opposite. I thought I was ahead of you when I was behind you.
It's all good, dude. We got 189 people watching this stuff, dude.
Well, I mean, the Karen Reed show did exceptional.
Did it really?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I posted it on Turtle Boy's Twitter page, and it got 500 views. Just on Twitter. I got to check it to see what it is. But it like when I post it on Turtle Boy's page, it gets a ton of attention. I always post Rebel Republic on Turtle Boy's page, and it gets a ton of views. So
that makes sense.
If you get a chance, I'm telling you, check out Turtle Boy's podcast.
I'm going to do that.
I'll send it to you. I'll send it. I'll text it to you. I just want you to listen to him. When we drove to Razul's fundraiser, I put his podcast on in the car, and my father listened to it, and my father actually liked it, and he wanted to listen to it because Turtle Boy is at the trial and he gives updates every day, so he wanted to listen to it. So that one is a hit. And Chris Thesitis, he wanted me to say hello, and he said that we should have done the show on the baseball team because they're now. I
wanted to do it on that.
I know they stunk though.
So I'm still into it.
They're on like a 10-game winning streak. He said,
"Let's go."
Yeah, I mean, but I don't want to give up. I'm not giving up our true crime show.
Maybe do Husky Huddle only once a week.
We probably could do that.
Yeah,
probably.
I'm getting bored with Husky Huddle because there's not enough information.
Because he said the baseball season could go into June, so we could do a Husky hardball show.
Okay.
For the rest of the season on Fridays.
Let's do that. I like that. Fridays Husky hardball.
Yeah, we could try it. But you're a baseball guy.
What?
I didn't think you liked baseball.
We could. So what? We'll talk about that. We'll talk about.
I do the Worcester Red Sox show. I didn't know you.
That's boring.
It's boring.
Yeah, because it's minor league baseball. I don't care about.
Dude, it's great. No, it's great. The Woo Sox are awesome.
The Woo Sox. All right, maybe I'm wrong.
Yes, I thought I've had you on that before.
You did have me on. You did.
Yeah. I made you do it with me. No, the Woo Sox are great.
The Woo's coming through.
Press passes.
What's that?
Ernie gets press passes for. I do it with my friend Jeremy Bandy, who is the head coach at Worcester Academy, and his friend, his offensive line coach, Mike Binkowski. They go to every game with the press passes.
Really?
They'll interview the players and they love it. So, yeah, we're doing that. But if you want to do Husky hardball next Friday, I'll do it. We'll go over the team's record. We'll go over the games for the last week or so. See what happens. See if we get any viewership.
I think that would be great, dude.
I think it would too. I think
people would really like it. Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. Let's do it.
Let's do it. That sounds good to me.
All right. You just got to create something for it.
Yeah, come on now.
Yeah, just create something for it.
You know that's gonna happen.
I know, because you're the man. You're the man. You're creating a lot of things. So yeah.
Well, I try to create. I want to be a creator.
Well, you're a good. You're a tech guy. You're a genius.
No, I'm not a genius.
You are.
I utilize resources well.
You are.
I try to utilize resources well. You know what I'm saying?
That's yeah.
That's the hardest thing. Yeah.
Well, you do a good job with utilizing the resources you have.
What? Oh yeah.
If I could do that, I'd be in great shape.
What do you mean?
Utilize the resources I have.
Oh, you could do it.
Yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there.
You stay in this team.
We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there.
I mean, I think we're in a good path.
We are. We are.
The hardest thing about business is plugging away when it's not, when everything doesn't go exactly the way that you may have planned it at some point. So
No, but it's going. It's going. We're right on the cusp of greatness. Right on the cusp of greatness.
Wow.
I think it will. I think it's going to happen. I really do.
It will. Well, I'll tell you. You want the recent numbers before I let you go? You ready? So last 48 hours, 15 million.
Fuck. Did you do any shorts?
I'm doing shorts like crazy right now.
Okay. That those are awesome.
I last 30-day run rate. Last 30-day run rate. Okay. Oh, no, sorry, not 30. It's 28 day. That's how they do it. I don't know why YouTube does 28 days, but that's what they do. Last 28-day run rate, 95.7 million.
That's the highest that you've ever had.
I think there was one time period where I hit. I don't remember when. I think when it first boomed last year around this time or a little bit before it, there was like this boom. There was a video that boomed. I can't remember which video it was, unfortunately, but it was a video. There was a video that helped.
Oh, you had one of the viral ones.
Yeah, I had one that went really, really viral. I can't remember which one.
Yeah, but, it was you. It was you doing commentary over something that was hilarious.
And so I feel like we were at like 100 million views that one period. But other than that, this might be the number 2. And I'm trying to push it because I think I'm hitting on some things.
Yeah, so absolutely.
I'm trying to push it and see how far I can go. My goal, here's my lofty goal. Ready? To be 100 million in 48-hour period. That's my lofty goal.
I think that's absolutely.
I don't know if that's possible. I don't know, because if you think about the run rate, 100 million multiplied by, that's every 2 days. So that would be 15 days. That would be 1.5 billion in a month.
I think that's possible.
If that happens, then
if we get the
Rebel, I probably should just sell it to a media company for a lot of money.
And if anyone, yeah, I mean, Rebel and Bloodlines and Husky Huddle. I mean, you're in Prospect Podcast. Those are all drawing. The I got a Husky Talk coming up with Ricky Moore.
That'll be great. That one I'll put up.
And then the Husky Talk that I did with Cassie Kearns did great numbers. So yeah, I think it's absolutely doable. It's just about the content and the shorts and the reels.
No doubt about it.
That's huge. Oh, that's awesome. Because I had the same on my my Facebook was up huge from last month.
Well, you're on the right train. This is the train.
Well, no, I know, but I've been trying to post your link instead of running it live, so the viewers go to you, but it still counts. And I'm just checking because it tells me.
Bloodlines has the coolest logo.
Yes, I love it. I love it.
Bloodlines and betrayal.
Yeah, so I've had 250,000 views in the last 28 days.
On where? On YouTube?
On my Facebook.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's good.
It's really good.
It's working out good. So it's definitely growing. So we're on the right track.
Phenomenal. All right. Well, we will see you.
Yeah, we'll talk Monday.
You got it. Talk more.
Monday. So
be careful. Have a great time.
Oh, I am having.
Wear a cowboy hat. Have cowboy boots.
I'm going to get a cowboy hat today.
You got to get one more thing though. Do you know what that is?
I'm not getting boots.
No, you should get boots.
I don't know if they have size 16 boots, but
you can get away with not having boots. Just wear some nice shoes.
Okay.
But there's one thing you got to get. So there's one more thing. Well, if you can do that, that's phenomenal. But I got. By the way, I have Nashville stories for you. I don't know if they're good for Husky Huddle, but great Nashville stories. That used to be one of my stomping grounds. Really? Oh yeah, and my sister went to school there too. So.
Oh my god! Because I couldn't believe how nice it was downtown.
My sister went to Vanderbilt.
Oh, she went to Vandy. Okay, because that was the last time I was here. Was when we played Vanderbilt. But yeah. I couldn't believe, they said this is the bachelorette capital of the
United States. It is.
There were 5 bachelorette parties.
It is. Listen. So, quick story before I go because I gotta get running. But this is a couple of quick stories. So, first of all, before I give the stories, you have to get a belt buckle.
Oh, I will get
cowboy belt buckle, man.
Yes, I will.
I would say get a belt, but you said you're only going to be there for a short time. Maybe get yourself a belt buckle, snap it onto your belt. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, nice big belt buckle.
I will. There's stores everywhere.
You could pass for a cowboy. You're a big 6'5" guy, you know, with a story to tell.
I will do that.
But yeah, now you're coming in there and you're looking like Tex. You know what I mean? There's Tex. Here he comes. So Nashville stories. So this is a history story. This is a history story. This is interesting. First time I went to Nashville ever was when my sister was I was injured in football. So I think it was when I had my back injury and I was out for the year. So that would have been my 3rd year in college. So she would have been graduated 95. So it would have been 1990. Hold on. Let me get this right. She would have been so my 3rd year in college would have been, would she be in college at that point? She would have been a freshman. She was a freshman when I went. So it had to be her 3rd year. So she went and I went to visit her in Nashville. And I was shocked at when I went downtown. So if I graduated, so that's 90.
I was.
But it's 96 maybe, or 95, 96. I went downtown. This is 1995 or 1996. I can't remember what it was. Went downtown, and they had stars and bars still, the Confederate flag in a lot of the old stores. You saw, you could buy stars and bars, the Confederate flag. You could buy it in all these different places downtown. So that was surprising to me. You know what I mean? It was 1990 something, you know what I mean? And that was the case. I came there again for her graduation, which was probably 99-ish, maybe 98, 99. I don't know when she graduated. Whatever she graduated, that was gone. There was no longer Confederate flags in 99. And they now had maybe the Titans or the hockey team. I can't remember.
Oh, yeah, the Predators, right.
The downtown in a few years had already looked different. It went from being an old time downtown to like starting to be really modernized. And then I went down there several times in the 2000s, like 10 or maybe 9, 10, that time period, maybe 11, 12, 13, something like that. Nashville used to be one of my places for my events that I would run.
Oh, okay.
And Nashville, by that time, was like a booming downtown. It was like starting to become a tourist spot. But I still knew some of the old honky tonks. They still had a couple of them left. The last time I went, I feel like I was already had my son, and I was down there, maybe right before then. Maybe it was 16 or 15. It had been a full-blown tourist. Like, I saw a bachelorette party after bachelorette party. I was like so blown away by how it was. Now, here's the crazy part. When me and my brother went to my sister's graduation, which was the late 90s, there was a place called Painter's Corner. It was a kind of a seedy area in the middle of downtown, but it was fun, like bars and like some other thing, extracurricular activity. And Painter's Corner is now an apartment complex. They took it down. It's now an apartment complex. So they got rid of all of that stuff. They put all these condos and apartments and everything like that. And I remember the last time I was there for a meeting, which was like the 2010s, or they had condos downtown for very cheap, Steve. When I mean cheap, I mean like a couple $100,000. Wow. Now those are probably going for close to like $750, $800.
Yeah.
It's crazy how Nashville has boomed. Now, I don't know if they still have it there. I remember when you used to first drive into Nashville, there that road that would come into downtown, not Nashville, but into downtown Nashville, that road, there was a strip club right there. Literally a strip club that people used to go to all the time. I bet you it's not even there anymore. I bet you. That used to be like this, like strip club capital of Tennessee. And
oh my God.
Guarantee that almost all of that is gone from downtown, if I were to guess, since you're down there.
I
bet you haven't seen anything, right?
I am going to try to find it.
You got to look some stuff. But yeah, it used to be. But I remember that as it was getting later and later, I think they were moving it more and more out to, like, I don't know if you call it the suburbs, but away from downtown. You know what I mean? So I don't know where because Vanderbilt, have you been to Vanderbilt's campus? Have you gone over there?
Yes.
Great restaurants, beautiful area. Downtown is a beautiful area. And then like there's another district which is like in between and downtown and Vanderbilt, where there's all like Ruth Chris and all those restaurants. That's a great area too. Nashville's one of the places that I've seen evolve amazingly in 20 years.
I couldn't believe the downtown. There's all these bars. They're all rooftop. They have like 3 levels.
Rooftop, I couldn't believe that.
And they all have bands. There's a band at every bar.
Well, there was always a band at every bar. That was kind of the country music.
I was amazed at.
Yeah. So back in the old days, I'm not old days, but like the 90s, those were honky tonks, dude. Some of them were honky tonks. They were literally, you walk in, like, dude standing there playing a guitar, 30 people watching them, everyone's drinking beer. Now they're like these multi-level plexes, right? These multi-level bars. That changed a lot. And it's interesting how much that changed. It really is interesting how much that changed, which I think is cool. Like it was always cool downtown. But it was like it evolved and and I think the sports teams are a big part of that, like the Titans and the hockey team and all that kind of stuff. And my sister worked for the Nashville Sports Council. She was part of that when they first got the hockey team there, and she was interning there. She used to intern there. So
oh my God.
I think that was her first job in sports, was the Nashville Sports Council.
That's amazing.
And
because it's I was just walking through. First of all, there's a million places. Every place had a band playing.
Yep.
I'm not a country music guy, but there's country music everywhere. And I just couldn't believe the number of bands that were playing. And I got to ride in a rickshaw, which was funny. You know what a rickshaw is?
Oh yeah, of course. They have a rickshaw down there.
Yeah, they had a rickshaw.
Oh wow!
My friend,
someone had to drag you.
my friend Ed and I rode in a rickshaw. Yeah, they pulled us to the bar we were going to. It was $10. I was like, I rode in a rickshaw. I had to.
That's awesome.
You know. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I the food is amazing. I couldn't believe the atmosphere. The nightlife was wild, like on a Thursday night. So I can't imagine what it's going to be like tonight.
I think you're going to have a great time. And on that note,
I have a great time when Steve Darby's here.
Steve loves Nashville, loves it.
Yeah, it's impossible not to have a great time when Darby's here.
He loves Nashville. Yeah, no, Darby, he still has the same enthusiasm that he had when he was in his 20s.
Yes, and he looks for having, two kids who
his kids are adults.
They're in college. His daughter's doing phenomenal at the U. She's at the U.
Right.
Student broadcasting.
Okay. Oh, really? Okay, great.
Amazing. She's a broadcaster.
Wow.
So,
we should give her an internship.
Well, no, that's what I told him. I said we'd have her on the podcast.
Yeah.
I said we'd have her on. I mean, if that's what she does, that's great. So he was excited about that. And his other son is playing at WPI.
So he's an engineer, his other son?
Yeah, his other son's a genius. Yeah. He's at WPI and he plays football. He's doing very well.
Cool. His son was very good in high school. He did a lot of good stuff.
Yes, his son was. So that was really good to hear. So yeah, we're having a ball. The guys are out getting something to eat right now, and then now
where are you guys staying?
We're in a very fancy Airbnb.
Oh, an Airbnb. So in the suburbs or downtown?
I'll pan around it.
Is it downtown? I can't because you got the wall background thing going on.
Oh.
You got to take off your background.
Yeah, I don't know how to do that. Here, none. Okay.
Oh, there you go.
You can see it.
Oh, it is downtown.
Yeah.
Those were the places that originally, I remember when those were all going up for sale, dude.
This is like.
That's beautiful.
Fancy.
It's like a studio. It's like a big open floor plan, huh?
Yeah. I mean, it was really expensive, but it's super fancy and it's amazing. Like, I mean, it's got a shuffleboard table over there. We got a poker table there, and then in all the rooms, there's a big screen TV, a bathroom in every room. And I think there's like 8 rooms. So it's
wow. How far are you from? Where are you in downtown? Where are you on Broadway?
Yeah, we're right by Broadway. Yes, we were. That's where we walked the strip last night on Broadway.
Oh, it's so great, dude. Did you go all the way to the water, or you just stayed along the main?
No. I mean, there were just so many places.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't know. We just hit up.
Darby must know it. I feel like I was in Nashville with Darby. No.
Yeah, Darby knows. I mean, we hit up probably 4 different places.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were at 4 different places. They're all great. But I mean, it's all the same. It's just a band playing, and they're all levels. They're all sky rises.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's just crazy how many places there are. there's a karaoke place. I may do a little karaoke tonight, so we'll see. But yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Yep.
So yeah, so I will be back Sunday, and we'll be good to go for Monday.
That sounds great to me.
Yeah. I'll keep you updated. I'll send you some pictures.
Okay. Cool.
All right.
Sounds good. All right, brother. Great pod.
Yeah, it was. We pulled it off. So just, remember, when life gives you lemons, don't make lemonade. Take 2 oranges, throw them right back at life, or go to Nashville.